The Tour du Mont Blanc is a circuit of Western Europe's highest mountain and one of the most popular and scenic treks in the world. It passes through France, Italy and Switzerland, is 170 kilometres long and has 10,000 metres of ascent and descent. We will be spending 10 days trekking with one rest day, using the refuges and jeeps along the way, giving us a chance to enjoy all that this spectacular trail has to offer. Not a bad view, is it, from our hotel balcony? Welcome to Les Houches, and we are here about to start the TMB, the Tour du Mont Blanc trail. So we arrived at the hotel that we're staying at, which is Les Campagnols, which is, it's about a 10-minute walk from Les Houches, and we're just going to, well, relax, enjoy the weather this afternoon, have some food later on, and get really early in the morning and get started. Well, the forecast for the next few days is, yeah, very, very good, so we seem to have really struck lucky. So yeah, myself and Judith, we're raring to go.
Together.
Well, we're underway and left the start point in Les Houches, came through Les Houches, and whew, we're out straight into a big climb up to Col de Vosa. So a good hour and a half to get above the valley, but already the views are opening out. Our first day from Les Houches took us over the Col de Vosa before a long descent down to the little village of La Chapelle. We then followed the beautiful Borrant river, passing the Contamine and up the valley to Nant Borrant Refuge. The climb up Col de Vosa was fairly well graded and passed lots of quaint chalets and woodland. On all the signposts, they have on the average walking time to your next destination, but they also put the altitude as well that you're at. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes I don't seem to go up very much from signpost to signpost, but you know what, wow, oh, the weather, I love this, it's great. But I've got a sweat on, it's warm. Towards the top of the col, the ski area was passed, and in front a superb view of the Borrant glacier. So let me tell you about the origins of our TMB round. So this year Judith was 60, and I said, so what do you fancy doing, Judith, for your 60th birthday? And she said, I want to do the Tour du Mont Blanc. Didn't you? So here we are, and we're doing it. So the first big decision we made about this trek was not camping. We'd originally planned to camp, but then the more we looked into it, the more it seemed to be a good decision for us just to use the refuges. So that was based on, first of all, we're going quite early in the season in June, and we know that there still might be quite a lot of snow on some of the high passes, which means us taking micro spikes. And I think Judith in particular, well, both of us really, were conscious of the weight of our sacks, carrying that extra gear with the amount of ascent that we had to do. And as Judith says, she wants to enjoy it, not feel like it's a complete graft. So we're going lighter weight, no camping stuff, using the refuges. And actually, I think we're looking forward to it, because our backpacking trips, we always camp. And I just think using the refuges will probably give us a different experience. So that's something we're looking forward to. The path down to La Chapelle passed through forest and beautiful meadows resplendent with flowers. It was a descent that was not too steep, one that we could really relax and enjoy. the afternoon we followed the valley uphill, accompanied by the lively Borrant river, with lots of falls, rapids and pools as it cascaded on its journey downhill. Well, we've passed Les Contamines. Don't actually go through the village centre, kind of bypass it along the river. Oh, we're kind of both melting a bit. It's certainly warm and we're glad of any shade we can get when we're in the wooded forest. But not far to go, we reckon about just over 3k now to get to our refuge for the night. And yeah, just a beautiful valley walk. So much to see, so we're just going to enjoy the last hour or so. We've left the valley floor and we've just got a last steep climb here on our way up to Nant Refuge, where we're staying tonight. Yeah, it's tough in the heat. But we're getting there, we're getting there. Well, that was a tough last couple of kilometres. We need to have a rest. We've got a big pass to go over tomorrow. So we're going to enjoy a couple of hours, I think, outside in the sunshine. We had time to sit in the garden with a beer and reflect on our first day. A day of mountain views and flowers and a taste of things to come. We soon retired to the hostel for an excellent evening meal and a good night's sleep. We're underway on our second day of our Tour du Mont Blanc trek. Great night last night in the Refuge Borrant. We were well fed. Very well fed. In fact, the packed lunch, I can feel it in my rucksack today. It weighs a ton, but no, it was really good food. And starting today with a hefty climb to the Col de Bonhomme. Day 2 took us over the Col de Bonhomme, the first of the high passes, then a rising traverse round to the Col de Croix de Bonhomme. It was a long descent down to the quaint buildings of Le Chapieux before following the Vallée des Glaciers all the way up to the Refuge Mottets. The climb up the Col de Bonhomme was long and steep in places. We took it steady, and after great views down the valley, the mountain scenery became ever more spectacular as height was gained. Just leaving the Col de Bonhomme, which stands for what, Jude? The Col of the what? The Good Man?
Col of the Good Man.
Col of the Good Man. So we're a good man to get up there. It was a good steady pull all the way up, but just fantastic surroundings. So now we are heading to the Col de Croix de Bonhomme, which presumably is the Col of the Cross of the Good Man.
It is indeed.
But unusually with a col, when you get to a col, you usually think you've got to go downhill, don't you? Well, we're going uphill. So there we are, a little bit different. We could see how this section could be really tricky early season with lots of snow. But we were fortunate there was just the odd snow patch remaining, and that didn't cause us any difficulties. we're leaving the Col de la Croix de Bonhomme. I think I've got that right. What a beautiful viewpoint that was. Some great all-round views at the top. And now, what goes up must go down. So we're going down to La Chapelle, I think they call the little town or village we're going to. Downhill all the way. I'm just leaving Les Houches, where we had a nice Coca-Cola, lemonade. Right, we're on going to, what's it called? Refuge Bonatti, 6k up the valley. Well, it's been a really good walk this afternoon along the Valley Glacier. Beautiful river that we followed, but crikey, it's been hot. Temperature has been oppressive at times, but we're on our final little climb now to the Refuge Bonatti, which is just up here, and that's where we're staying tonight. Well, we've arrived here, dormitory number 10. What a fab place this is. Toilets, shower room. Amazing, fantastic, right, so. Woohoo! So I think we're gonna get showered and freshen up and, yeah, relax. We had a fabulous evening at the refuge. The food was great in the dining room decorated with old cheese making and farming equipment. We enjoyed good conversation with our fellow trekkers and finished with a post-meal traditional French sing-song. All great fun. It's our third day. What a fantastic stay it was last night at the Refuge Bonatti. Just really welcoming. Nice to chat to different people, just buzzing. It was just a lovely place. So we feel relaxed and refreshed, sort of, ready to go with today. So today we cross over into Switzerland. No, into Italy. Italy, isn't it, Judith? Italy. That's exciting, isn't it? Italy. So got an early morning climb up to the top of the Col de la Seine, which will be our highest point so far. And we're making the best of the cool morning, because if it's like yesterday, crikey, it's going to heat up later on. On day 3 we climbed up to the Col de la Seine on the French-Italian border, followed by a beautiful easy descent down to Lac Combal, passing Refugio Elisabetta on the way. Another long climb took us over the Arête Montfavre and a glorious terrace walk to Maison Vale to finish the day. have arrived at the spectacular Col de l'Ascent on the French-Italian border. What a sensational view it is. It's amazing. And I think we could both say that we actually enjoyed the ascent. It was certainly easier than yesterday's ascent, nice and gradual, and yeah, just stunning views all the way up. So a place just to sit for 10 minutes, take it all in. We're now heading down towards Courmayeur on the Italian side. We won't get as far as Courmayeur today, but we're going to be heading down in that direction. First, we're going to pass the Refuge Elisabetta. Just past the Refuge Elisabetta in the most dramatic location beneath the mountains. So now heading to Lac Combal, where I think we'll stop for a bit of lunch. Our lunch spot today is by Lac Combal. Not a bad spot, is it? Beautiful. I think we've both agreed that that section from Col de l'Ascent to here has been the best so far. Just a stunning valley. The climb up from Lac Combal to Arrête Montfaivre was steep and hard work, particularly in the warmth of the afternoon sunshine. However, as is often the case on this trek, hard work was rewarded by superb views, in this case across the valley to Mont Blanc. Just come down there from our high point. Can't remember the name of it. I'll maybe put it on screen now. And on this beautiful terrace, so a high terrace now that we're on above the valley, and that eventually is going to take us to our refuge that we're staying tonight. Is it Maisonville? Maisonville. That's where we're heading. It's a boiling hot day, and it's great because you can get kind of a bit of cool air just coming off this snow patch, so you get a momentary respite from the heat, which is great. Maisonville, I think this is where we're staying tonight. Let's see what it is. Looking the wrong way. So we've arrived at the very quirky Maisonville, and we're having a cheeky little beer. Don't worry, it's non-alcoholic. Don't think I could drink any alcohol, mate. I don't think I won't get up in the morning. But it's a lovely spot, and as I said, just seems a bit quirky. Very individualistic, so I think it'd be a nice evening. Looking forward to the evening here. So Julie's just said, what do they mean by quirky? And I thought about it for a minute, and I thought, well, it's kind of old-fashioned. And she said, well, that's what the name Maison means, old house. So that put me right, didn't it?
It's not her number.
We had a really relaxing couple of hours sitting outside the refuge before heading in to have what was probably our best meal of the trip, the spaghetti bolognese being particularly memorable. As we retired to sleep, the day ended with a deluge of thunder and rain. We're underway on day 4. Just left there. Judy described it as the funky Masonville. I think that was probably a good way of describing it. A funky stop. Anyway, today we're heading down into Trient before we climb up the other side, and we're heading to Refuge Bonatti tonight. Got to say the tendons are feeling a little bit tender this morning, so maybe they're going to get loosened up in the first 10 minutes or so. But that thunderstorm last night has cleared the air. It feels a bit less humid this morning, which is great. So our route on day 4 took us on a really steep descent downhill to Trient, followed by an equally steep ascent up to Refuge Bonatti. A balcony path high above the Val Ferret then led to Refuge Bonatti, with stunning, spectacular views across the Mont Blanc range. We've left Trient. I looked a lovely town, and now we're heading up steeply on the other side, following, well, at the moment it's quite a nice woodland trail which has got some decent switchbacks, so it's just a steady pull at the minute. But we're also in the shade, which is a bit of a blessing because it's already really hot again. So steady away. This will take us up to Refuge Bonatti. Then it'll level out a bit when we get there. This was a hard ascent, steep in places and the switchback seemed endless. But eventually the trees opened out and gave a stunning view over Trient. Found a spot of shade underneath this tree. Thought we'd better have a bit of shade for our lunch. That was quite a relentless climb up to the refuge. We're just below the refuge at the moment. It's about, I don't know, 100 metres away, that's all. Then we had that stunning view of Mont Blanc as we came past. Fantastic. Oh, right, that's the main hard work of the day over, so this afternoon should be a little bit easier. We're on a nice high terrace. Quite a few kilometres, so looking forward to that. Enjoyed the lovely 15 minutes on this high terrace. And you can just make out Mont Blanc. It's popping out between the cloud. But yeah, it's just what a wonderful spot just to sit and relax, take in the views. We have reached the very impressive Refuge Bonatti. Looks a lovely modern building. Yeah, we're going to enjoy our night here. Not a bad view either, is it? Look at this. Fantastic view. I think we've just had one of the best coffees we've ever had ever. I think it tasted gorgeous. Just gone for the lemonade. And I think we'll get showered, changed and just enjoy the surroundings before we eat later on at 7 o'clock. But yeah, we're a lovely place. So this is the dorm for two in the Refuge Bonatti, and we're about to go have our evening meal. It's quite nice having meals cooked for you, isn't it, Jude? instead of my usual concoctions. But anyway, no, this feels a very luxurious refuge compared to last night. Anyway, certainly. The refuge was large, modern, and well organised. We enjoyed another excellent meal and the chance to catch up with other trekkers' tales before heading off for another good night's sleep. And so begins day 5. That was a really comfortable stay at the Bonatti Refuge last night. Lovely food, nice bed, yep, very good. But today we leave Italy and head over the Col de Grand Ferret and down into the pastures of Switzerland. So no doubt be a little bit of a different feel to what we've had so far, but weather's looking grand again. But although there's a really cold wind this morning, so glad to get moving. We continued on a high terrace from Refuge Bonatti before dropping down into the valley and Chalet Valferret. It was then a long climb past Refuge Elena to the Grand Col Ferret and into Switzerland, and a long easy descent to La Fouly. Just reached the bottom of Valferret, the valley, and some signs of avalanche damage here at the bottom. Right, Judith, it's all uphill now for a long time.
Joy.
So stop Refuge Elena. We just had a quick stop there at Refuge Bonatti. A couple of soft drinks and another refuge, and they're just stunning location. What a place. But now 500 metres of ascent to the top of the Grand Col Ferret, or Col de Grand Ferret, and then we'll be passing into Switzerland. This is the Grand Col de Ferret. There's another stunning viewpoint. We're stopping here for a little bit of, well, I'd say lunch. But lunch is, yeah, a bag of crisps and a cereal bar. That's it today, I'm afraid. But yeah, well, it's a stunning spot. And the border, of course, between Switzerland and Italy.
Watch out for cyclists.
Oh yeah.
I'd come away from that bit here, mucky bit there.
Yeah.
So this afternoon, we're now in Switzerland and heading down to Fouly, which is our overnight destination. It should be a nice, steady descent we've been promised, nothing too steep. The path down was a lovely easy descent, as the guidebook promised, through pastures, cows and green meadows. We stopped for a delicious sandwich and coffee at a welcome refuge. Then it was onwards, past quaint, colourful chalets down to Fouly. Just heading now into Fouly, and our accommodation for tonight, I think, is the Glacier Inn, I think. There's the Glacier, presumable. Right, we've just had our evening meal and having a little stroll through the streets, oh sorry, the street of Fouly. It's just a lovely little village, alpine village. There it is. Our accommodation tonight is pleasant, but crikey, very expensive. Very expensive, very disorganised, yeah, but it's fine, it is what it is. But yeah, compared to some of the other places, it's definitely not as on the ball, should we say. But we're enjoying ourselves, aren't we, Judith?
Yeah. And we have our own show.
And we had our own shower, yeah. So I think a little bit of reading time back at the hotel, and then get ready for our next stage tomorrow. We're on our way from Champex today. Is that bad?
That's really...
Sorry, right.
Don't do that.
Right, we're just starting day 6 and we've left Fouly. Judith's laughing at my singing, I don't know what's wrong with it. But anyway, supposedly an easier day today. That easier day followed the valley from La Fouly down to the charmingly old-fashioned villages of Pradefort and Isère, before a steady climb through woodland to Champex. So we liked La Fouly. It's just a very small little, like, something wouldn't call it a town, it's like a little hamlet. Just a few dwellings, but yeah, it was a nice place. Whereas I think where we're going today, Champex, will be a little bit more touristy. Having 5 minutes under this natural umbrella whilst a little shower passes over us. Really enjoyed that walk down the valley so far. That's been lovely. Well, it would seem rude not to stay, so we did. The narrow streets of Pradefort felt oldie-worldy and untouched by time, quiet and of another world. It marked the end of our long valley walk, which had been a complete contrast to the rest of the trip so far. Well, we're certainly part of the way up the climb. Up to where we're going? Oh, Champex. Quite steep in places, but we passed some nice wood sculptures on the way up that are a point of interest. There we go. But we're also enjoying bread and cheese. Some really nice cheese that we bought this morning, which is good. And avoiding the showers so far, but I think there's still some hefty ones kicking about. But we might get lucky. We have reached Champex. What a wonderful setting this is. And we're sat on this bench, just enjoying the view out here over the lake. Enjoying the bird song, the breeze, and not having to move our legs. Here we have a view from our dorm window. Judith's chilling already. She's got her perch. So Champex, yeah, it's a very impressive little resort. So I'm going to look forward to exploring that tomorrow. We've got a rest day tomorrow. It was a bit of an enforced rest day on us because we couldn't book anything further on, so we had to have 2 nights here. But I think we've probably chosen very wisely in our rest day location. So normal routine, shower, meal. I might have a little walk later on around the lake, that could be nice. We're on the next stage. Today heading over Alpes to Trient. So another pass to go over. Well, it's not a pass, it goes over a kind of spur that juts out. So we really enjoyed our day off yesterday at Champex. Very relaxing day. We spent the morning at a lovely alpine garden, looking at all the flowers, and then in the afternoon chilled out down by the lake, watching the birds and just generally relaxing. We had a lovely lunch as well. There's a boulangerie just down from the hostel that we stayed in. I had a fabulous lunch there, it was great. So yeah, all in all, a very relaxing day, and we feel charged up, ready to go 4 more days. From Champex, we headed down the valley and started the long ascent to Hut.10. Steady at first, but then becoming steep in places. From there, it was a pleasant descent to Col de la Forclaz before a steep descent to Trient. Halfway up the ascent, we met the remains of an avalanche, which required a little care in crossing. It gave us a perspective of the force of nature and the huge volume of snow and power that must have been generated in this event. Had a quick drink stop at the Auberge Borrant. It's a great terrace overlooking the valley below, and now we've just got, I don't know, another, if it's not even 100 metres of ascent, a little bit of a climb just to get over this spur, and I think we're going to stop have lunch there. So we've just crossed the high point for today, and stopped for a sandwich, but we didn't hang around because under the tree where we were there were a few mozzies kicking about, so it was, yeah, get moving. So we haven't got far actually to go to Trient, but it's quite a drop, about 700 metres of descent, so I think we'll just amble along this afternoon in the sunshine. We had a sneaky ice cream there at the Col de la Forclaz, and now we've, well, a fairly short walk down to Trient, where we're going to stay overnight. But we've come around the northern end as well now of the Mont Blanc Massif, so as we head back this way, we're heading back towards Mont Blanc, and so the big mountains will come back into view again. Arrived in Trient at the Hotel La Grande Ouse, where we're staying today.
It means Hotel of the Big Bear.
Oh, okay, Hotel of the Big Bear. Oh, yeah. Crikey. So we're going to have a bit of a chill out time here until we can get in about 45 minutes. So, time for a bit of relax. I may have a snooze. I have a little grandad now. Right, we checked in our room in the Hotel Grand Ouse. Rather posh it is too, I've got to be honest with you. Look at this. It's palatial. Very nice. We quite enjoyed today. We've seen a few people who've left comments about today as it being a bit dull and not very interesting. Somebody even described it as boring. Well, I don't know, I think we quite enjoyed it. We like the walk through the trails through the forest. You've got some lovely views up on the top. Yeah, nice varied day. You don't have the dramatic mountains that we've had sort of in some of the earlier days, but still lovely. That view over Martini was superb. Well, it's going to be a case of usual routine. Dinner at 7. We've had our shower. I think we might even go and have a little sneaky drink before we go down for our tea. Well, this morning had a little bit of a different feel about it. Had a really big thunderstorm in the early hours of the morning. Totally freshened everything up. Difficult to say whether or not it's going to clear today. It's forecast to be heavy thundery showers, so could be an interesting day. And neither of us really had our best night's sleep. We're not really sure why. I don't know if it's because it was very humid. Don't know. But anyway, we're up, we're moving. And actually we're both really looking forward to going up to Borrant. We've been to Borrant before on the previous holiday, but from the other side, so today will be nice to go back there. And I hope we get a view, because it's a brilliant view from the top. We started today with a nice easy walk up the valley before a long climb up to the Borrant. From there we descended a little before climbing the Hut.10 before descending a long way down to our refuge in Montroc. The climb up through the woodland was relentless, with supposedly 20 zigzags, although I lost count after about 12. Some of them were really steep in places, but height was gained and eventually tree line was reached. The gradient eased and we started to get some more open views on our ascent to the Borrant. I think Judith's making me soft. I'm drinking coffee now when I get to fucking tops of hills. A bit expecting a cup of coffee now when I get to the top of a Munro in Scotland. Anyway, I think we've timed it just right because it looks like the weather's closing in, so it might be a blustery afternoon. We've just stopped for a bite for lunch just underneath the top of the Hut.10. Just sheltered from the wind really. Got a fantastic view though over the side of the valley. And even in the sunshine. That's quite a steep ascent down there, and Judith got very excited by this sign because it's a little bit of a shortcut for us. So Hut.10 is just slightly off trail, so it's Hut-10. So it's, as I say, 5 minutes off trail, so a little bit of a shortcut for us. That's a tough descent though, that.
Yeah.
Tough descent. Right, let's get to Hut-10. Well, we've arrived at Hut-10, got showered and beat the rain, which is always a plus. So we're just gonna have a bit of a chill out here for a bit. I think Julie's found today hard, haven't you, love?
Yeah, I had a second unexpected mountain.
Oh dear. Not my fault. So yeah, we're just gonna have a relax before our tea. Well, we both really enjoyed our stop there at the Hut-10. Food was fantastic, freshly prepared, simple ingredients, but just cooked and presented well. Yeah, it was really lovely. It was a great bit of food there, and great value as well, crikey, when you compare it to some of the other places that we've been to. Fantastic value. So yeah, I really enjoyed our overnight stop there. And today, well, we've got another another steep climb in front of us. You're all only ever doing steep climbs up or steep climbs down, it seems, on the TMB. But heading up towards La Flegere today, that's going to be our finishing point. But we're going on the Grand Balcony Sud, which should give us some amazing views over towards Mont Blanc. Our route today took us from Montroc to rejoin the TMB path at Trient. From here the trail rose steadily over the ladders to Tetevon, where we followed the Grand Balcony Sud to La Flegere. From La Flegere we deviated from the TMB down to our overnight accommodation in La Lavange. The path up from Trient started in lovely woodland, but as we gained height the views opened up and we could enjoy the morning sunshine and spectacular scenery. After the trail levelled out, we reached the foot of the TMB ladders. As Judith reminded me, 3 points of contact at all times, and although the drops in places were significant, we both took our time and it never felt precarious. After a long climb over the ladders, we reached the superb cairn of Tetevon, which commands a superb view over the Chamonix Valley. At this point, I left Judith to enjoy the view and had a quick jog up to Lac Blanc. Unfortunately, the mist rolled in, but from time to time it cleared to give me some views of the rugged mountainous surroundings. After my little diversion to Lac Blanc. We are now on Le Grand Balcon Sud, which is the Great South Balcony, and it's just an amazing terrace walk that you do, looking out to the north side of Mont Blanc. You can see right across from the Aiguille there, Chamonix Aiguilles, the Grepon to Mont Blanc. It's just a stunning view that accompanies you all the way. We are just leaving La Flegere and heading down towards the Chamonix Valley. So the Tour du Mont Blanc continues along from La Flegere, but we couldn't get in the hostel there tonight. So instead we're dropping down into the valley, and we've got an Airbnb lined up in the Chamonix Valley. So La Flegere is one of the main ski areas. The problem with the ski areas is in summer they look horrible. Bulldozed, pistes, ironmongery all over the place. Not pretty. But anyway, fortunately, we're away from all that and we're heading down a nice little forest track down by the river.
It was another steep descent down through woodland, and by the time we reached the valley floor we were ready to call it a day and relax at our overnight Airbnb.
Right, this is it then, our last day on the Tour du Mont Blanc. What do you say, Judith? Hooray! Hooray, woo! So, we've left La Flegere and we're on the Grand Balcony Sud still, and we'll continue on that till we get to Plampraz for our climb up to the Brevant, which will be the final summit of this walk.
The Grand Balcony Sud was an undulating path between La Flegere and Plampraz. Then followed the last climb, as hard as any before, first up to the Col de Brevant and then the Brevant itself, before the longest, hardest descent of the whole route down to Les Houches. The Grand Balcony Sud was superb, with great views down the Chamonix Valley and across to Mont Blanc. We were also able to watch the paragliders high in the air above us, both from a distance and also up close.
Just left the La Paz ski area, where we stopped for 10 minutes, a little bit of a break, and watched the Brevant cable car winded its way up the mountain in a big span in front of Mont Blanc. And now we're climbing again, this time First of all up to the col de Borrant, and then finally up to the top of the Borrant itself. Just left the col de Borrant, made a little bit of a sandwich there. Up until, only 2 weeks ago, there were some pictures where there were loads of snow on this section still left. There's still the odd little bank here that's left, which needs a bit of care, but the majority of it is now gone. Oh, I've reached the top of the Borrant. Yeah, quite a tiring climb that. Got all the ski lift crew up here as well, but it is a lovely viewpoint. I'll show you the view now. It's fantastic. We've left the busy summit of the Borrant and are now on this massive descent down to Les Houches. I was thinking this is probably the longest single descent that I've ever done in one go. It's over 1500 metres, so just going to take it really steady, have some breaks on the way down. Trying to keep ourselves going. This is a long descent, so I'm singing. What are you doing, Judith?
I'm counting how many park runs are left.
Alright, okay. Is that working?
Well, there's less than one.
Okay, well, less than one, right. Less than one, but a mountain of descent still to do. Well, we thought that descent down into Les Houches was going to be tough. It was tough, but we've arrived in Les Houches. The end is in sight.
That was our Tour du Mont Blanc trek. 10 days hiking with one rest day around the full 170km route. We enjoyed meeting people of all ages and nationalities, the spectacular mountain scenery, rivers and waterfalls, and meadows and flowers that will live long in the memory. It was a great adventure.